Hi, I'm Dr. Hackie Reitman. Welcome to another episode of Exploring Different Brains. Today we have with us Sandra Cumper, who is the Executive Director of NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness. And Sandra, thank you for being here. Introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, York. My name is Sandra Cumper. I am the Executive Director of NAMI Broward County. And NAMI, as you said, is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And we are the local affiliate to our national organization, NAMI.
What's your mission?
Our mission is to provide education to to the entire Broward County population for families and those individuals who are living with mental illness to understand that this is not a death sentence. They can go on to becoming productive citizen if they understand their illness, if they do accept treatment and know that medication, education, treatment works. Recovery is possible. So, what we do is provide programs for individuals living with mental illness, their families, and their friends. We educate families to understand how it is for their loved ones to suffer from a mental illness. We educate those individuals who are living with mental illness to know that, to understand the illness themselves. And we invite friends who are caregivers to be a part of that educational process.
So, you're here in Broward County, Florida, here in South Florida, Greater Fort Lauderdale, but you're part of a whole national network. Is that in every state?
We actually have over 1,000 NAMI affiliates. We have a state office in most states. Majority of our states, I'm thinking we may not have in about 2 or 3 states. However, we do have 24 affiliates in the state of Florida itself.
You know, stigma for all of neurodiversity, whether we're talking about mental health issues, whether we're talking about developmental, intellectual differences, neurological differences, um, what does NAMI do to try to eradicate the stigma?
That is one of our focus. Stigma, we want the community of Broward County and the world to know that you are okay to go and get a checkup from your neck up if you're diagnosed with a mental illness. So we offer 10 programs in Broward County. These are programs for a family to family program. We offer a peer to peer program. We offer a family support group, which we find is so important for the individuals who are caregivers and of loved ones who are living with mental illness, because we want individuals to understand mental health. We want to bring awareness to the fact that mental health exists, but individuals can recover.
Let's talk about the stigma in our inner city urban populations, over say where the Hackie Reitman Boys and Girls Club is, and zip code 33311, one of the worst zip codes, no matter how you measure it. The kids are terrific. Um, but it's hard to discuss mental health issues in that community. Am I off the mark here? And what's being done in that regard?
Again, because of the stigma, individuals don't want to hear about mental health because they do not understand mental health. So, what we do in areas like that, we have our representatives to go into these communities, to meet with individuals, to talk with them in group settings. We offer connection groups, which is a support system for them. One of the most important thing about NAMI is that we train individuals to become trainers themselves. Basically, an individual who is living with mental illness is offered a specific training to provide that training to peers. So we have a lot of peer-led programs that we find that individuals who are living with mental illness relate somewhat to peers. Uh, we offer a number of programs, all free to the community. We encourage our church sectors, schools. We offer a program, it's called Ending the Silence, where we have individuals going into the schoolrooms, the high schools and the middle schools and the colleges to talk about mental health, to address mental illness from that stage where young kids are at that point where they're making changes in their lives, and changes can sometimes help to exasperate some behaviors and some medical issues, mental health issues, because hormonal changes, moving away from homes, going into colleges, being by themselves, developing new friendships. Sometimes those can actually affect a young person. So before these individuals get into the system, we want them to recognize the signs and the symptoms associated with mental illness.
What kind of reception are you running into in the church community here in Broward County?
We do have individuals, leaders of churches, that sometimes feel that it's not necessary to bring this to their community, to their congregation, because it's a long-term thinking myth, I would say, where people would sometimes think that the church leader is a person to go to for help. And we have congregations that will encourage their congregation to speak only to their pastors or their ministers to get help. But what we have seen over time in the past few years is that a lot of our ministers and pastors are now recognizing that mental health, which is very prevalent and is becoming more so, is something that is outside of their realm. That's not something that they were trained to treat or to handle. So they are now encouraging NAMI to present what we call Faith Net, which is a program we offer to churches specifically for that congregation, that population. It's not we don't have specific denomination. We meet every person, and we meet them from that level where they can understand that we're coming from a faith-based per, level, and understanding that we are not there to become their pastors or to get into their religious beliefs, but basically to talk about mental health, and that it's a condition that affects anybody, everybody, anywhere. It does not discriminate.
It's very wise to present as a value added to the church
Absolutely.
as opposed to competition, you know. Um, our audience watching here at differentbrains.org, what can they do to help end the stigma of mental health issues?
We can talk about mental health. The audience, I implore on every person not to be afraid to talk about mental health. It affects every person at different levels. It mental illness may not affect you directly, but indirectly, everything that comes with it, the taxes you pay, uh, being able to get medical care, indirectly, mental health affects us all. We see people living on the streets who are homeless. We have to pay for those people to get treatment in our hospitals. So we want to be able to talk about this mental health. We want to be able to talk about recognizing the signs and the symptoms. We invite the audience to come in, be a part of our programs, and to understand it so they too can go out and tell their family members, and to encourage those who are living with mental illness to get the treatment they need.
What are the biggest roadblocks you run into?
Okay, roadblocks are just denial, individuals who are in denial. And not only is denial from the person who is experiencing these symptoms and behaviors, but family members who do not acknowledge that mental health is a condition that can be treated like a medical condition. We find that getting in the, getting treatment from our hospitals, there are individuals who are unable to pay for treatment. And because they're unable to pay, they're not choosing to go into the hospital to be treated. We have individuals who do not understand mental health, and they will turn people away and believing that this is something that will go away by itself. It's a condition just like a medical condition. A person with cancer will not heal themselves. They need to be treated. A person who is having a problem in the brain need to seek treatment.
Very well said. How can our audience find out more about what you're doing?
We would love to invite our audience to go to our NAMI website. It's www.namibroward.org. And there you will find you'll learn about all our programs, which again are free to the community. All our programs are offered free of charge. And what is encouraging about this is that we encourage family members to volunteers, friends to volunteer to be a part of our NAMI organization. In fact, 70% of our staff are volunteers. 70% of the people who offer these programs are trained by NAMI. We have 13 signature programs, and all these people are trained to present these programs to give back to the community. Our programs are by design signature programs. What that means is that if you start one of our 12 weeks family to family class and you have to move to Alaska and you want to continue with that class midway in the 6 week class is the exact program that you lived here in Broward County. So all our programs, and we want to maintain the fidelity of what NAMI National started. So we ensure that our programs are well represented. We ensure that our individuals who present these programs are highly trained to give back this program to the community.
That's great. Is there anything we haven't covered that you'd like to cover?
I would love to cover that we invite every person to be involved in NAMI. We are a nonprofit organization. We have been around for 35 years in Broward County. Uh, it is amazing that there are individuals who will not or have not heard of NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, when we have been around for a very long time. And our main purpose is to treat every person living with mental illness with dignity and respect so that they will not be in a position where they are afraid to talk about their mental illness. We do have a national walk, a NAMI walk, where we invite the community to get together. And one of the things that we do at NAMI is to build partnership. And at our walk, which is actually on November 9th at Tradewind Park in Coconut Creek, at our walk, we will invite our entire behavioral health community. And we have providers attending, being vendors there, participating in our walk. Again, that's a free walk, and everybody's invited. Everybody.
Well, that's great. Great. Well, Sandra Cumper, it has been a delight to have you here at Exploring Different Brains. Keep up the great work you're doing for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, right here in South Florida in Broward County. And I'm sure that you'll continue to do the good work you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Exploring Different Brains is a production of Different Brains, Inc. For more information, visit us at differentbrains.org.